Hello, good afternoon, truth seekers, justice seekers, fam. It's me again. Thank you for joining me. I am, as you can see in my videos, I'm kind of like jumping around all these different spots where there's good lighting or bad lighting. It's driving me nuts. Hopefully, it doesn't bother you as much as it bothers me. And let's get on with the show, okay? Shall we? Everything I say is my opinion only, and it's for entertainment and educational purposes. I am hoping to inspire discussion, and please let me know if you're watching and you can hear me. Just say, yep, I hear you, or something like that. Otherwise, I don't know. And my technical difficulties are getting to be less and less, but I'm still experiencing some. So I did a video this morning and I apologize. Oh, yay. Yay. Thank you guys. You're awesome. I forgot to do my routine when I signed off to say all that great stuff, reminding us all to drink our water, eat healthy, exercise, take it easy. Be kind to ourselves and those around us. I get so thirsty. And it's fall. I'm in the Midwest, so it is really dry. We haven't had rain for a long time. So as you know, I have been, it's odd to say, inspired by the Rodney case. I am inspired to help find justice in a place where it's looking extremely questionable right from the outset, straight out of the gates. This was a weird story. I think I first heard about it on August 8th or 9th. So she went missing allegedly on August 6th. It probably hit the news on the 7th. Maybe I heard about it on the 7th. Anyway, it immediately sounded so bizarre. Like, who goes missing from a high school graduation party? People go missing from parties all the time. I've talked about that much earlier in my tapes. It's very gang related for someone to disappear from a party, get shot or stabbed at a party, and nobody knows nothing, right? I mean, where I live in the city over just 10 miles, it happens regularly. And unfortunately, it has happened where I live. It doesn't happen often, but these are things that would happen often in Sacramento, San Francisco, Oakland, not so much in Lake Tahoe, but, hold on. Excuse me and thank you. All right. So some of the things I wanted to come back on to talk about right now. Can I just thank you so much for all the watches and the likes and the subs? Unbelievable. I have my last two lives have like 5,000 views, and that one is from yesterday and one is from the day before that. And it's hilarious when you look back at my lives before that. There's like half a dozen, and all of them combined maybe have 1,000. So I think the one from this morning is probably getting close to 1,000 by now. And it is just wild. It is really wild. I feel so honored. I could just cry, tears of joy. And, I'm surprised that I don't feel like this pressure of like, oh no, now I have to deliver, because I have really just been myself and been authentic. And I've gotten such great feedback for that. So thank you guys. I know when I'm on looking for things to watch, it's hard. It's hard to find somebody that you really like and that you're not going to agree with everything somebody says, right? So I try to deliver facts as I see them and my opinion as I see fit. And I do like to disseminate information that I have seen in other people's videos, because there's some really good ones out there. Right now, I'm real selective, honestly. I mentioned this morning, I'm having a very hard time watching anybody's video that wants to, in my opinion, pretend that those videotapes from the forest fire surveillance cameras have any validity to them at all. And to me, it's really neither here nor there. There's still so many questions, even if there was. And if those are the real tapes, my bottom line is, man, those first responders over there in Northern California look like baboons, really, seriously. We are suffering a nationwide crisis right now in lack of integrity in law enforcement. And it's not the time to be corrupt. If you're corrupt, just lay low for a couple of years, okay? That's what I've been saying for a while. It's not a good time for that. Maybe they haven't been paying attention because they're too busy fabricating falsified documents and such. And I hate to say that. I hate to accuse any law enforcement of such wrongdoing, but I know that it happens, right? We all know that it happens. So hopefully less rather than more. And eventually, hopefully not at all. Really, with technology, there's so much oversight that has never been experienced before. And if people in positions of power would wake up and pay attention to that, they would realize in order to keep the respect and keep their position of power, they're going to have to play fair. There's way too many opportunities for people to peek in at what you're doing and for their opinions to be heard, right? I mean, this format is a great example of that. So some of the facts that I have yet to hear, has anybody out there, put it in the comments. Oh, hi, CNY family. It's lovely to see you right there. Oh my goodness, that's awesome. I was defending you on one of your last threads because there were these trolls that were just being ridiculous. And I was like, why am I sticking my neck out here? Because, I don't want to get into the fight. I don't want to feed into the negativity. I want to stay positive. I want to stay focused. But CNY, I so appreciate what you're doing, and you have stuck your neck out ever since I found you. I've been seeing you stick your neck out and say some things that I think have a lot of truth to them and that you have to be very brave to say. So I thank you, and I was happy to get in there and fight for you, and we'll see where it goes. Anyway, like I said, when I have kind of a zero troll policy. When I see a troll, I just delete them. And if they're super rude, I just block them. I don't have time for that. Who does? But then somebody is being a troll, but somebody already commented and it's a thoughtful comment. So then I might let it slide. And it's not that I want to hide the negativity. We all know you're out there. Come on. It's no secret. It's just that nobody needs it, right? And we get 100 positive comments and then one shitty one. So it's terrible, and that takes our attention, and we could be focusing on other things. And that's really the point. The point of trolls, I believe, is that they're trying to take you off topic. They're trying to take you off course. They're trying to derail you. And we simply cannot let that happen. So back to my question, has anybody ever seen any of these kids state what time they got home that night of this alleged party on August 5th, 6th? I have not. I have heard through the grapevine some stories and reports of Sammy getting home in soaking wet clothes, that information may or may not have come from a family member. But I don't think we're going to hear the real alibis of these kids, because if they tell authorities what time they claim to have gotten home that night, although remember, the authorities can track their cell phone, right? But the second they get home, the second they get in the company of their parents, that pulls their parents in as witnesses, right? Yikes. I think that's what the car deal is, a distraction. That's absolutely what I think the car deal is. It's a huge, huge red herring. And it's like magicians, right? The way magicians do their tricks is they get you to look over here and they pull the rabbit out of their ear over here. You know what I mean? It's annoying. But I want to know what the story is with these kids getting home. Are they claiming that they got home at 1 a.m.? Are they claiming that they got home at 5 a.m.? Are they claiming that they never went home? What's the story, right? Another place where we're going to get a ton of information, and I don't think we've heard anything out of it yet, and we probably won't until maybe November 1st, maybe never, who knows? That black box, right? The black box is going to tell us how long the car was in the water. And mind you, no airbags were deployed, right? That kind of rules out the whole car accident thing. But, you know, that to me has always seemed ludicrous. And the more information that comes out, the more ludicrous it seems. And that's why I've said lately, my last few videos, that ship sailed a long time ago. And to me, this videotape from the fire cam, they've had a lot of time to work on doctoring that up, haven't they? Like 2 months? 2 months, 8 weeks. So they could get the best professionals out there. They're NASA professional. Somebody reminded me in the comments that we do have a NASA professional involved in this case, right? So, you know, I've brought up again and again the tragedy of the Donner family. And when I first brought that up, I thought, oh, people might think I'm a little bit weird, right? But everyone was like, oh my God, thank you for bringing that up, especially locals. The more I look into it, and I don't feel like it's a rabbit hole, I feel like it is real because, as I've mentioned, I've been there. I've been there a number of times, right there on Donner Lake. And I haven't gone to that lodge, to the Lost Trail Lodge, but the place that we would stay routinely was very close to that, right on the water. And to get to the Lost Trail Lodge, you have to go over to the west side of the lake, get on Cold Creek Road or Cold Stream Road, drive right through the Donner Memorial Park. Okay. One of the creepiest things about the Donner Memorial Park is they have, get ready for it, I hope you're sitting down, they have a picnic area. I mean, oh my God, really? Let's have a picnic at the Donner Memorial State Park. It might seem normal to people that live there, right? They just drive by it every day. And one of the things that I have failed to bring up about the whole Donner Reed family tragic event is the delirium, the absolute deliriousness that went hand in hand with starving to death and being stranded in this awful, awful snowstorm. Watching your loved ones die, watching them suffer, watching people eat other people, and then doing that yourself, your own family members. These people were crazy by the time they got rescued. And it was, I want to say February 18th, 1847, when they got rescued, and the rescue party set out from whatever base camp that might have been, I'm not sure where, probably Reno. But they set out, I think, on January 31st. So it took them 2.5 weeks to get there. And when they got there, they were horrified. They found 46 alive people and 41 people either partially deceased or completely gone, blood everywhere because of the snow, the inability to clean up, and crazy eyes. Everybody with the crazy eyes, right? Like, we're talking a 46 Charles Manson on crack. Oh my goodness. So why I'm going off on all of that is that the lodge is really, really close to the actual spot where that happened. Not just the Memorial State Park that you would drive through to then get to the lodge, but it's just right up there on the hillside. And there's also like a weird train turnaround up there. So I don't know if you guys have heard about that. I've seen it. So I remember that. I've heard during this case that there's like 2 train turnarounds, but I remember the one, and I remember just thinking that it was really odd that the train would go up so high only to turn around. And why is that? Why would they go up that high just to turn around? It doesn't make sense to me, but I'm not a train engineer. So maybe some of you are. Codswalloped, and the fear of each party member, whether they were next on the list. Exactly. And as I've mentioned, when the rescuers arrived, the people that were survived lied to them. They said that some died, and those are the ones we survived off of. What they failed to share, but slowly over the next few months shared, because you kind of have to tell the truth, you have to get it off your chest, is that they were then plotting, if nobody was passing away quickly enough, they would select who was the weakest: the elderly, the young, the sick, the injured. And so they would basically conspire who was going to be next if somebody didn't die in the next day or something. So, I mean, these are drastic measures, right? And the thing that's so weird to me about when I've been in Truckee for those lovely ski trips is just how normalized it is, how people want to joke about it all the time. Like wherever you go, they see that you're a tourist and they'll make a joke about the whole Donner Party. That was my experience. That was like 25 years ago-ish. But had I not been there, I would not be tuned into any of that. And so that's why I wanted to start sharing that with people as I got more into this case. And I believe this is my 51st video in about 40 days. Yeah, probably not even 40 days. So, I am committed. I'm absolutely committed to seeing this out until there's truth for Kylie. And if that means a year, so be it. If it means 4 years, sometimes the wheels of justice move slow. I certainly hope that it's not. I have other cases I want to cover, and I am trying to remain steadfast through the frustration, through the difficulty, because of course you're always going to hit those difficult times with anything, right? So it's all about being committed and staying on course. And anybody who wants to criticize me for that, hit me with your best shot, because you know what? I don't care what you think. I mean, really, if you think like me, it's nice to have your company. It's always nice to have support. If I don't have the support, but I feel very strongly about what I'm doing, I'm going to stick with it. And I am not going to apologize for that. It's sort of the way I'm designed, and it's served me well throughout my life. Okay. I mean, I've raised 4 kids. I've got like a dual master's degree. I've ran a couple of businesses. Raising the 4 kids is the hardest by far, right? And just surviving. I mean, I'm 55 years old. I honestly never thought I'd make it to 50. I grew up with some very unstable parents. That's putting it nicely. And my grandparents were fortunately my anchor and kept my feet on the ground. And, I sort of would see what my parents would do, and I would use that as something to learn from, to not do. So, I'm just happy to have the character that I have, that I don't think I would have all that character built if I hadn't seen up close a lot of bizarre stuff, right? It's hard to comprehend some of these things, but when it's normal to you, it's normal to you. So, like driving through Donner Memorial Picnic Land every day to and from your home, some people that's normal. Not a lot. Not a lot of people live down that road. And I don't think a lot of people could, quite frankly. I mean, for me, it was weird enough just going up there to ski as much as I absolutely loved it. It was a really weird thing. I've mentioned it before, the way that spot up on the hillside is basically staring down at the town of Truckee. It's not staring down at Tahoe because Tahoe's on the other side of that mountaintop. So they're all free from that. It's the people in Truckee that it's staring down at. And so it's a real Truckee community, cultural kind of experience. And I had no idea all this other stuff. I mean, I could tell it was a small town. I could tell that the locals were very few and that they could instantly ID you as a tourist the second they laid an eye on you because they don't recognize you. So to give you guys numbers, it's about 18,000 in the summer that live in Tahoe, and it's maybe 100, 200, 300,000 on a busy weekend in the winter in the Tahoe area. Actually, I think, no, that's the 18,000 is just Truckee. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, you can correct me. I don't mind being corrected. I love statistics. And statistics are often skewed. They're skewed by a lot of things. So somebody said, oh, I'm a local and it hasn't snowed though 20 feet in forever, except for a few years ago when it snowed 25. So I'm just like, your point in correcting me is what? So for a thumbnail for this one, I'm going to use one of the photographs, one of the screenshots that I took of the snow walls and the vehicles and the people, because if you haven't seen that, it's hard to imagine. It's really hard to imagine. And then you got to remember, with the history of this community, that they were dealing with that without snowblowers, without heaters, without travel, without resources. All they had was their group of 87 people starting out. They had their horses, they had their carriages, and they had the snow. And then they had the treetops. So they used the treetops for food and for making fire. They used a giant boulder, like the size of a wall, as a wall of a shelter. And then they built 3 other walls with logs. And then a whole bunch of people would stay in one tiny cabin because that's all they had. They were boiling their saddles to eat, right? I mean, these were desperate times. So this whole tragic thing started, I think it was about October, like late October, that they set out, or maybe that's when they got stuck. Essentially, they were stuck out there for like 3 months-ish, give or take, with whatever provisions they had when they started, which was not an appropriate amount. And then the snowstorm that hit them, I think, was the worst snowstorm to date. So that was like 170 years ago. But something that I really wanted to share, other than underscoring that delirium setting in and just the craziness, that survival instinct, the cannibalism, just how, you can't picture being in that situation. And, hopefully none of us will ever be in a situation like that. But basically that happened due to a series of bad decisions by the people in leadership positions, which is exactly what I feel like is going on right now with the Kiely Rodni case. A bunch of bad decisions by the people in leadership positions. It's not good for your town. It's not good for misogyny. It's not good for anybody. So on that, maybe I'll wrap it up. I'll read a few of your questions, but really, I'm kind of afraid to say it because I don't want anybody to come after me. But I think Truckee needs to be boycotted. Hit them where it counts. They're hoping that their ski season is going to start in less than a month. I say boycott Truckee until they get it together, until this case is solved. So if you agree with me, spread the word. I don't know. Hashtag boycott Truckee. The only problem with it is like there's like 3 T's in a row because boycott has 2 and then Truckee. So when I have done that hashtag, I've taken out one of the T's so it doesn't look so strange. So it's boycott Truckee with one less T. But I'm going to read a few of your questions. I see they did eat everything they possibly could before. Right. And I think that a few people died pretty quickly right off the bat. But yeah, it took them a while to tell the truth, of course, because probably as they started to tell it, people would freak out and then they'd kind of retreat and stop. But also remember that the people who survived were very prominent, put in very prominent positions in the areas of Sacramento, San Francisco, Los Angeles. These people with the last name Reed, with the last name Donner, something to look into. Reed College in Portland, Oregon. One of my favorite colleges in the country. I don't know. I know there's like Lewis and Clark College up there too. CNY family, thanks for standing up for Kylie. So many YouTubers have just called it an accident and moved on. Thanks for sticking it out with us, fellow justice seekers. I got your back, boycott Truckee. Okay, it looks better when you do the Truckee with a capital T. Very smart. See, I didn't think of that because, you know, with the hashtags, everybody does lowercase. So much better with the capital T. It doesn't look so incorrect. So Lana Ramirez says agreed. Joe Beth for Truth says agreed. Nate H, residents, Donner Summit reportedly. Donner Summit reportedly. Oh, so like the Hambricks live up there at the Donner Summit? Because not many people do. I mean, the Lost Trail Lodge is way, way, way off the beaten path, getting close to the Pacific Rim Trail. And there's nothing up there other than like the train track that goes to nowhere and this hideous memorial site that, you know, anyway. Hi, CNY family. Hi, morning, Dave. Remember Truckee's principles, especially the third. I don't have them right in front of me. Is that like thou shalt eat? Oh my God, I saw the funniest thing the other day. I took a screenshot of it. Somebody did a like a Yelp report on Truckee and said, you know, I would give it 5 stars, but we ran out of supplies and had to eat a small child. Oh man, that is crazy. Okay. Invent options. Yes, always invent options. Harsh Reality came up with a fun Truckee Way shirt that had the hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil figures on it. Well, that's cool. I haven't seen that. And I watch Harsh closely. And yeah, somebody else says Harsh is awesome. I think he has 30,000 followers now. And he only started December last year, so less than 12 months ago. Hambrick is on LinkedIn. Yes, I've seen that. And hi from Durham. Huffy Gal says, hey, Justice, CNY, and everyone in chat. Hope you're all having a fabulous day. Glad I caught you in a live. CNY family, that's so awesome. I have to go, but keep up the good fight. And I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much for your support, you guys. Like I've said again and again, it's priceless to have the support. Without it, it's much harder to fight, obviously. And I just think that we need to keep fighting. I think that, you know, those that want to give up or go in different directions, that's fine, you know, each to their own. But I feel like some of us just have to stick with this. And eventually justice will happen, even for Kylie. So remember to drink your water, eat your fruits and veggies and your protein, put your feet up, take a deep breath, stretch, get some exercise, like go for a walk or, jumping jacks, some of those things that we used to do back in the 70s, the Jack LaLanne type of stuff is really good for us. So anything you can do, squats are a big thing these days. Remember doing like the little circle things, frontwards and backwards, bigger. These things are really good for your blood flow and your heart, and basics like push-ups and sit-ups, modified, of course, so you don't hurt your back. But we got to take care of ourselves. We got to be healthy. When you're fighting for peace, when you're fighting for justice, it's an endless battle. So you've got to take time for yourself. And I think especially for people that are newer in the game, and I'm not newer in the game, I'm newer in the YouTube game, but I've been doing this for a few years and it is exhausting, but I'm telling you, it's fun. Fighting for peace rocks. Fighting for justice rocks, right? So on that, you guys have a great day. You might see me again this evening, but I'd say for sure in the morning. And I'm just so appreciative. Thank you. Thank you. See you then. Have a great rest of your day. And end.